What is going on, everyone? My name is JX, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are doing this month's Event Quest breakdown, the Sea of Troubles, the MCU crossover event with Wakanda Forever, with the Contest Champions, which introduces Shuri and Atuma. This Event Quest was pretty interesting. Obviously, it's not like the MCU. It's not like Wakanda Forever. Kabam always do their own storytelling when it comes to these crossover events, and we even knew the story last year with December's narrative roadmap, which basically said that Wakanda has to survive the besieged Galactus, but also bury the hatchet with old enemies to survive Galactus. And obviously, I was like, dude, this is obviously Wakanda and Atlantis, which for Talokan. So yeah, I was like, that's got to be Atuma, because obviously we got Namor. Like that Atuma is something that even Kabam gave. The former director at Kabam said he wanted to do Atuma for a bit, and he even said he wanted to explore Atlantis. And so this is like, I knew this would be the event they do it, and they do. So it's pretty exciting. Also, Namor is from another Contest Champions, by the way. When the Maestro banished Fantastic Four, he banished Sue Storm to a alternate version of the contest where she met Namor, who was one of the original characters we brought into the contest in his version, and then he came to our version. So kind of interesting too. They didn't really play on it. They kind of mentioned it, but it is kind of funny that happens. And Shuri's actually been in the contest before. I tell people all the time, like, did you guys know that Shuri's actually been in the game before? Yeah, so when we had the Infinity Claw event, basically, if you know what I'm talking about, I'll explain. Basically, we had the Black Panther event, which had Killmonger with the Infinity Claw, and basically Black Panther defeated his cousin and got the Infinity Claw, and then he used the Infinity Claw against Thanos, and it scattered all his stones, and the Infinity Claw disappeared. And Shuri showed up in the next event where she was helping us track down those Infinity Stones. It was really awesome. She was like, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Shuri. My brother's better half. So she was only a dialogue character, which is very, like, kind of strange for contests. Usually there's a model or something. But yeah, she was only like an intercom voice, which, kind of made sense for Shuri, right? But yeah, and she even said that she helped repair Bucky Barnes' psyche and also give him a vibranium arm, which actually never played a part in like a Bucky buff or a visual update, but it's still funny that he technically does have that. Now, I talked about the Infinity Claw, and which is really cool is how I said it disappeared. Well, in the final cutscene for MROC, which, by the way, was so weird because the time travel thing made it like MROC, you cannot put a time on it because time on the battle world is so weird. And then Anathi went back in time to something that hadn't happened yet, and when she did it, it was insane. So Black Panther gives her the Infinity Claw, which she uses against the Chrono Serpent to buy everyone time to escape Battle World. But obviously, she's from the future where Battle World exists, and she doesn't know who killed the Maestro. And it was such a weird time travel mystery thing. It was really interesting. But the Infinity Claw is with Anathi, who I kind of said might play a part in this event or December's event, but it seems like neither. You know what I mean? Alright, anyways, back to this event. Yeah, so this event is pretty cool. It kind of plays a lot on just Wakanda and Talokan or Atlantis. Yeah, we'll break this down. Alright, respond to a distress beacon. A summoner arrives at the edge of Wakanda's territories. That remains of Wakanda within the battle realm is under siege at the latest target of the Galactuses. Yes, if you don't know, there is an army of Galactuses that came to the battle realm in May's event, which was the Multiverse of Madness event. And when we had Quicksilver and Gown, they kind of explained they were getting closer and they were just laying a path of destruction, and Gowan said he was going to help us, and they also said he was going to help kind of find a source for these because Galactus they hunger and devour planets. We had one planet in the battle realm. I think maybe we do have more planets, but we don't really know because the battle realm is kind of like we don't actually know how big it is, you know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting they're just laying a path of destruction, really. Alright, Summoner, there you are. I am sure my brother T'Challa has told me all about you and your usefulness. Oh yeah, and something that I kind of sucks is that they don't mention Shuri's been in the game, and they don't mention Black Panther having the Infinity Claw. The only thing that mentions previous events is obviously the Galactus and Killmonger later on, but that's it. I'm a little disappointed. It would have been cool, like Shuri would have been like, "Oh, nice to meet you again," something like that, or "Oh man, like crazy times we've had, fighting Thanos." But there's not a mention of it, so I'm kind of disappointed. But yeah, so Summoner, there you are. I'm Shuri. Yeah, so he's saying, I am Shuri. So kind of like she's introducing herself for the first time. But like I said, that doesn't make sense because we've already met her. So I don't know if they just overlooked it that Shuri was in the game, because I mean it's a really blink and miss it moment. But it kind of sucks. So she's kind of saying like the Galactuses are kind of like, wow, they have so much power, but they use it for hunger. What a shame. Like she as her who utilizes vibranium, like the rarest and most powerful material on Earth. She's like, wow, man, what a shame of power. What's also cool is she does it. She said, our bunkers in Wakanda, they've been gobbled up with the rest of the realm, so we need to make an uneasy alliance. And that is where you come in here. You're a diplomat, correct? Which, yeah, we've been called diplomat because we've kind of helped it with, like, the mutants. We've helped it with the Avengers. Like, so many times we've been a diplomat. Anyway, she said, I have seen your impressively complex roster, which is, hey, thanks. It's kind of funny because, it's so weird, like, when technically we are the summoner, but we have a champion of rosters. But when we're, like, it's so weird because, like, it doesn't necessarily most of the time mention that we use our champions to fight. It just in the dialogue, it's like, oh, your champions aren't the problem, the summoner's the problem. But I don't know, it's kind of cool. A little meta, right? Anyways, they're not a biggest fan. So she's talking about Atlantis, how they've kind of had this like rivalry, and they've had this, roughness being neighbors. And she's like, I'm going to offer assistance to them in form of technology and resources, so you can offer. So a heralded Galactus shows up, obviously Airwalker, and he said the only offering either of you shall make is the full fuel for the Lord Galactus in his many glorious forms. No, this will not do. We have too much ahead of us to engage. Yeah, she's like, yeah, we gotta focus on Atlantis. Get out of here, Airwalker. Summoner, your executives advertised taking care of business with ease. Now we go to more subtle battle. I've also mentioned for T'Challa where you fought, just so he knows of the plan. He likes to stay in the loop. Another thing is, T'Challa kind of disappeared after that event. Like, him and Shuri both disappeared. And I was kind of curious is, like, if this, well, obviously not this version of Shuri, but the Shuri we met in the Infinity War event and that Black Panther went to MROC. We never really got an answer because that Black Panther actually died against the Maestro. And the Maestro obviously brought everyone into MROC that came from around the multiverse. So that confirms it, that obviously the Black Panther in MROC is dead, and then obviously Queen Shuri became the new Queen of Wakanda, but not related to MROC, it seems like, or at least not yet. As the ship nears the shimmering edge of Atlantis, they are met by a waiting Namor, King of Atlantis. Your Highness, salutations. I was not expecting to meet this soon. I am Shuri, leader of Wakanda's design group, and you bring me to danger. Too many people are here already. Troubled borders to hold. You shall turn back. This is not the note I had hoped to start off on. It's funny. But how long do you think it'll be? You think this ends with us? You two will need to help us survive. The king has spoken. His judgment is final and beyond your question. Leave or your journey ends here and now. I've heard of you, Atuma, and there are not stories where you are the hero. I appeal to the king's sense of morality. I will hear your reasoning, but know this, princess. Our stories of your world have not been kind ones either. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. They kind of build on the comics and they build on the MCU. Because obviously we have the comics Namor. We don't have the MCU Namor. So it's kind of interesting. And obviously our Namor in the game, as I've said before, is kind of, he is not from this Contest Champions. He's actually from an alternate Contest Champions where he was one of the first people summoned into the battle realm. Yeah, it's so confusing. Basically, Fantastic Four banished the Fantastic Four, and Sue basically got banished to an alternate dimension or an alternate timeline of the Contest Champions. It was so interesting. I do not know what brought your enemy Atuma into your circle, but now I approach you only as a friend. Yeah, which is kind of cool is the Atuma in the MCU is not really a villain, maybe not yet. But in the comics, he completely is. Like, he's completely the rival of Namor and fights for the throne of Atlantis. And what are you, brother, the Black Panther? What of your brother, the Black Panther? In this moment of peril, he sends his little sister to speak for him. I sent no one. However, our greatest scientific mind decided you are our best hope. Was she wrong? She arrives in a warship and speaks, bringing weapons of perfect kingdom. She is pretty face hiding sharp teeth. Damn. It's kind of cool. The warship, obviously, they actually had a warship in the movie. So it's kind of interesting. Like, obviously, this event quest has nothing to do with the movie, but it is cool that there's a lot more that can pay attention to the trailer and then the story. Do not hide. If I was attacking you, you'd know. We are speaking peacefully for the betterment of our two worlds. Brother, I do not send my message looking for help. I only sent it for you know where I was. I knew exactly where you are headed, and to all sorts of trouble if you think you'll find mercy from the Atlanteans. Now their king arrives uninvited to our doorstep. This is an invasion by inches, my noble liege. Each venomous lie from your steel's hope for our one survival. Do you know this? There's a price for these negotiations. Can you surrender the summoner and you may enter Atlantis temporary? This is funny. I always like this when, like, the villains... Obviously, Namor's really not a villain. But, like, the villains are intimidated by us. It's because, like, we beat the Grandmaster. We beat the Collector. We beat the Champion. We've... Like, it's so funny. Like, it's just... Like, we're just a regular... Like, we're just a regular person. But we just have this complete roster of unbeatable characters. And it's so cool. But this is really cool what Namor says. It says, they are loyal to no kingdom. They are a weapon to which shall fall under my control. Yeah, I mean, also, we've Thanos as well with the Infinity Stones. Like, we've beaten so many people. He's like, I kind of want this person on my side. I mean, he's not doing a good job at doing it. But it's funny. Do you mean this is a declaration of war when we come to pleading for peace? None attack, just common sense. You see, they come for Talokan. They come for Atlantis. They hunger as much as Galactus. We will never know peace. Oh, stop all this overly dramatic speeches. Others need us now. Our people and our people and your people need help. Sure, he's correct. I have been firmly reminded that things in the battle are not in the balance as I'm used to. Another thing is, like, besides Galactus, could be a meta on, obviously, he's not from this battle, this Contest Champions. So be it. I offer a small section of the shore, enough to gather and plan your next step, but I do not offer a home here. Thank you, King Namor. Wakanda accepts your gracious offer of assistance. Lead the way. How is it that you turned from the friend of Namor, Atuma? These are not the oceans of our home. Water here is a precious resource. We could not risk a battle leaving only droplets behind. That's actually pretty cool. Though this is not Namor I knew, he is a noble leader of this strange realm. Alliances were a necessity. So kind of cool as well is another thing, like with the MCU events, if they are like the MCU design, they never really mention like anything to do with the MCU sometimes, but not really. So he's kind of saying this is not the Namor I knew. So maybe obviously saying, yeah, his Talokan, his Namor is actually from his, like, this isn't like the MCU design with the Atuma from the comics. So I think that's really cool detail, because usually that's the case when we have this MCU designs. And T-posing Immortal Abomination, gotta love it. Stop no further, endanger the oceanic cascade. This is pretty funny. Obviously, when I thought Namor or Atuma was coming because Oceanic Cascade, and that's cool that they actually mention it. I'm the protector of the depths, so dubbed by this, he would truly wish to protect this kingdom. Protect it from who? From its ruler? Like, he's like, what the hell? My guards will see this monster and find who sent him. This will be the real help to my king. With a snap of his fingers, several battle-ready warriors swiftly remove Abomination. Kind of cool, you know? Either Atlanteans or Talokan warriors, I guess. You know, obviously we don't see them, but you know, same thing with, like, we have Hydra agents in the battle realm. We have Adaptoids that actually have models, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? We have a lot of other things too. We are not overwhelmed by new arrivals. Oh yeah, many aliens as well. Be safe, sister. These are not safe waters for us to go wandering in. I slipped a Camellia bead on the Abomination before I got swept away. Now it's our clear path to some secrets. There, I stopped to structure ahead. Yeah, so she's like, I don't trust Atuma. Why the hell does this monster come out of nowhere? This is typical bad guy stuff. Yeah, so she finds weapon plans, invasion fail-safes, and secret treasures to find. Boring. At the beast was indeed on a payroll. A lot of chatter with other usual suspects and my cousin, Killmonger. So it seems like Killmonger sold secrets to Atlantis, specifically Atuma, against a group of Jabari Panthers. Yeah, a group of Jabari Panthers show up and are apparently are attacking Black Panther and Namor. So Namor's like, you say you return, signaling this attack, like. Black Panther's like, can you see I'm not fighting them too? They are the pawns of Killmonger and Atuma. And Namor's like, can you see even a pawn can kill a king with a devious enough master, moving the pieces? Which is completely true. I mean, we've all seen most of us have seen Game of Thrones. We know, right? Alright, Summoner, pick a panther and take them out. The battle ends with a shocking detonation, allowing the assassins to escape, all except one. The Jabari Panther defeated by the Summoner still remains on the floor. Which is kind of cool, is, you know, there are, you know, can be an army of Jabari Panthers, which in MROC there actually are. You know, basically every single tribe in Wakanda had their own suit in the MROC, and that was also a customizable suit, but also each had an army with those suits, which is pretty cool. You're both kings. We get it. Very impressive, but let us see who's actually behind this. Sure, removes the mask from a final panther and reveals not a Wakandan warrior, but an Atlantean in disguise. Not sure how you could really hide that much. I mean, like, the Jabari mask only covers so much of the face, and obviously, like, they just put on, like, pink dreads, so it's kind of funny that they can fall for a disguise. Are you sided with him to make it seem like the aggressor? Namor and Black Panther rushed to the throne room to find half a dozen knocked out soldiers and wounded Atuma. She is mad, Namor, witnessing Galactus must have driven her beyond reason. So it seems like, obviously, Atuma is just using this to make enemies with Wakanda, or at least just get rid of Wakanda's leaders. It's kind of interesting. This is exactly what Atuma was attempting to do. Let me fix this. Trying to unlock the controls of the kingdom's fleet. We shall settle this once and for all. You and your cage, little panther. The king of Atlantis moves where he, from the ground's ribbons of electricity, magnetic poles, ping the kings of Atlantis and Wakanda to the floor. I'm only doing what must be done. It will make sense. Calm down. She is poisoned. She will do anything to save her people, even if it means the destruction of another's world. As Shuri falls to the ground, Atuma kneels before the summoner. Mighty summoner, controller of the realms, ruler of the champions. Atuma, thank you. It's like he's praising us. Like, oh, thanks. You know, you saw it. She's the real villain. I thank you for playing your part so beautiful, truly masterful, showing stupidity. Atuma, what? Yeah, Atuma shows his true colors. Why? It's like that nonchalant, like that, like that. What is it? Like the villain trope where he's got to now, like once it's time, he has to explain his like a James Bond villain, explain his evil mastermind plan. Because the potential multiverse of oceans laid before a king who was too weak to claim them, now begin the reign of Atuma, ruler of the infinite seas. I had this coup all set up, one kingdom waging war against another, but it would have taken ages. Then, like all gift wrapped and ready, you arrived on our doorstep and set it all in motion. You would send two nations into war and join forces with Killmonger to claim control. I would sacrifice countless fools and align with any force to gain control of what is truly mine. The war ends today as I slaughter two false kings, then I shall control both Atlantis and Wakanda. For any out there that dare to oppose me after this, their struggles will end into oblivion. Like, does he actually think this is going to work? Come on. Couldn't actually deploy a fleet, which is why I'm lucky Shuri did. I actually couldn't do that. As much as says your Atlantean tech, I have to learn from them. I wouldn't need another 5 or 10 minutes to get into all the system much longer than I had to work with. Then what were you stalling for? Namor makes announcements from his throne. I get it. It's beautiful, which is kind of cool. Obviously, Namor in the movie as well made an announcement from his throne. It was so cool. Obviously this is a little different, but I don't know. Like when you can visually, like, you know, it's storytelling through dialogue, but when you can visually, you know, in your head and kind of see it, it makes the storytelling so much cooler. Anyways, I've been broadcasting to all channels. Yeah, outsmarted Atuma. Like, he's here, you know, doing his, you know, Bond, like his James, like the Bond villain, explaining it, and she's here there with she's got a microphone on. Like, it's so funny. You made me do it. You forced me under it. No one's gonna believe your lie. He's trying to be like, pfft. He's trying to be like, she made me do it. Atuma, you spend the rest of your days rotting the deepest trench we can find. No, if I shall not control this realm, I shall take a pleasure in destroying those who claim to rule over it. Bro, come on. Not one soul shall ever leave this palace, and I'll start by destroying the summoner. That's the end of the event quest. I was hoping for, like, an extra, you know, like how the Kabam have been doing it most of this year, where they do the extra thing to explain what happens next. Just a little bit of a closure to the event quest, but it ends right there. So, and obviously next month's event quest is with Jessica Jones and Mantis. I think the patch notes are out, so you can kind of read the event quest breakdown or synopsis. But yeah, the event quest is over. You know, it's a fine event quest. I think really I just would have, I don't know, it would have been cool if, like, I don't know, I don't know what I expect for this event. I just wish that we kind of understood where Shuri's been instead of, like, reintroducing herself for the first time the second time. Like, I don't know, I think I would appreciate it if it was a little bit more continuity to the event quest. But it was still fun, and, you know, it obviously sets up Atuma as a villain for the Oceanic Cascade. Sets Namor and Wakanda, Namor leading Atlantis and Wakanda combining their forces against Atlantis, or just surviving Galactus, I guess. But yeah, all right. Anyways, I know this is probably the longest event quest this year, but it was pretty fun. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys next time.